Either way, there's going to be a happy org after this one.
Well, it might be a really happy one because Maestro Dewey took it yesterday on the NA side. So could we get a double Maestro victory? That would be something kind of special. Well, at the moment, oh my god, he just slips by and gets himself the armor he needs to help avoid the rail, ironically.
But I feel like, you know, we talked about this earlier, and Maestro, they have duel just in the palm of their hand in terms of their player lineups. And it's great to see them really sort of show that they are still so good at this game mode. But Cypher, yes, his bread and butter is duel.
Yeah, so it's what he lives and breathes for. He loves the stuff. A couple of fantastic rails from Xron, and he's even got the light armor to fall back on afterwards. Cypher's the one licking his wounds a little more.
Both going for good shots though. Like when those really sort of tight angles come through and they both land the shots, I think it's showing the even level of play both of these players are currently looking at. Here comes the tri-bolt.
Oh,
misses
that's
the shot.
nasty for Xron. He was vulnerable to a rail just there. Now the tri-bolt is raining down a little bit on him. He's not going to brave it up the bounce pad, but suddenly a spike of damage. I think Cypher was thinking almost the same thing just then, but the piercing sight's going to enable Xron to get things a little more unreturned.
Yeah, you know, he'd have really wanted that shot towards Mega before he landed the rail. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. It would have put him in a much better position. It's allowing Cypher to continue the aggression, but the point-blank nail gun does manage to work out, and with 9 HP remaining, Xron pulls off a miracle.
He does. Oh, he's going to try and not back up onto the heavy.
Oh,
it was
no.
there. He didn't go for it, and that's a little bit of a calamity for him, because if he picked it up, he probably would have died regardless, but he would have chipped away at so much more of the health and armor Cypher had.
It's unfortunate because it's given Cypher the complete seesaw effect he was looking for. He had an excellent spawn, knew he could go in and be aggressive because the health was on his side. Cypher almost gets killed by ring out.
Oh my god, that's a direct.
Oh my god. Yeah, the sniper on the tri-bolt. Oh my no!
He finds it again, regardless. They hit the triple shot just then. I don't think they were all direct. And Alzeron's got control of the mega health. And Cypher wondering, what the hell just happened?
Well, because I was watching from Cypher's perspective when he actually got taken out there. And his general, like, where he was standing when he got hit, it just felt like I don't think he underestimated, but it almost seemed like he just wasn't ready for a tri-bolt to hit him at that point in time. Like, it caught him completely by surprise. Excellent LG.
Whoa.
Wow.
That was a massive blast to the face just then. Galena's now. Let's see if. Right, let me see if we're. I want to switch over to Xron just to see if he's put down any totems there. He's putting one down in a sneaky spot now. I missed where Cypher was putting. Oh, I think he just.
Cypher
placed his spot.
Cypher just placed his on the teleporter, so he went for a much more traditional totem this time.
Traditional. I like that expression. I will use it and pretend I invented it myself.
Wait, you got to credit me for it at my Twitter.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh, the jump pad! Yep.
How do you hit that stuff? That was so fast from Xron, and he manages to take down the first round.
It was almost like even more of a bonus rail that he was able to shoot, because not only did he get the damage on the board, but he also was in a position where it forced Cypher back onto the jump pad, which was the last thing he wanted.
Cypher doesn't have the right weapon out, and we've got a little bit of a push with the nail gun, almost ringed out just then. And Xron is just relentless of that aggression from the beginning. And Cypher's being, massively caught off guard.
I felt like that was not a good spawn for Cypher either. He had the pummel out just in case he needed to, you know, get some of that close range damage. They always try to race each other to the super nail gun. It was whoever picks it up is going to win, and they both almost accepted their fate in that regard.
Yeah, there are sometimes you see people on the heavy spawn. They might spawn by rail or above it, and they choose, you know what, I won't drop down for it, because it basically means I'm either vulnerable and predictable at the bounce pad, or I've got to run through the water. And some people prefer to have those options to, like, move around the map a little more freely.
Now Cypher, with that double up, going in for the totem once again. It's going to both do heal for himself and shut down those teleporters, meaning that Xron has to be very, very careful, actually, how he uses the certain parts of the map.
Very sneaky play between the two of them. We've got totem available. I'd call that. It's not quite a traditional totem. Sorry, I just wanted
That one's slightly more against the grain. But I did like the slow play, actually. Just kind of really sort of killing some of that time until the pickups were able to spawn. Cypher should be able to secure this. Xron goes down, and he wouldn't have had chance either to really land a rail in between, which was good awareness from Cypher to make sure he had the accuracy on deck.
Cypher's almost got that full natural stack. Little rocket jump across from Xron, and he jumps right into a direct rocket. He manages to escape for a moment, and he pushes back in to go for some machine gun damage. He might be able to get himself onto Mega. Just about makes it, and is now edged away to Tribal.
It was an unfortunate time, you know, just as he happened to rocket jump, you know, Cypher was ready and waiting for the reactionary rocket just in case. And, you know, Xron's thinking in his head, why there of all times? Like, that was so lucky, even if it was Cypher's awareness.
Xron might be walking into a trap over here. He does jump across the other side. He's got a dire orb. He's not going to teleport through it. Rocket jumps galore, and he can't stop him. Eventually, Cypher manages to chase his way up to the right railgun. And if Xron could have knocked him back down to the bottom, then that could have prolonged his life a little longer. But now he's forced to make a move. Perfect rockets, though, from Cypher. Absolutely stunning. I see no reason he can't get the frag, and that's the tie-up of the rounds.
Tries to sustain as long as possible with the totems, but I think that's just going to delay the inevitable in that situation when you've taken so much damage and you're getting knocked up into the end. You have no control over how you're going to be dodging, and Cypher, he's not going to be missing those shots. Not in this situation.
Round 3.
Let's see off the beginning of this one. Cypher's the one who gets the closer heavy spawn. He's not dropping for it straight away. He's getting a little information, sees where Xron is, and decides, right, I can walk out the water safely. He might go for some damage. He sees that the light armor's been taken. Does he want to close the gap? There's a little damage done by Xron. It's made him think twice about it.
And Xron delaying his use of the piercing sight, which really kind of gave him an edge in that fight near Mega. Uh-oh. Cypher has to watch out for the second rail because Xron's not going to miss it.
Xron is such a dirty player when he's landing his rail shots. Like, he is a fairly rail-heavy guy, but he's not always stringing together the rails like he would love to, and he's been hitting so many so far. That makes life difficult for Cypher.
Absolutely, you can say that again.
Before we go much further in this final, we didn't get really predictions going up properly. Do you have any way that you expect this to go?
It's actually going to be hard to say who I think has the edge. I think these rounds are actually somewhat reflecting that as well, that they have gone very, very back and forth. I think in this instance, personally, I see Cypher edging this one out. I know he's had a very sort of up and down road, but with Cypher having, you know, recent issues where he's unfortunately unable to go back into the States for QuakeCon, you know he's going to take every single tournament he can enter with the utmost seriousness behind it. And with that level of hunger, I do think Cypher's going to edge this one out, but I think it has a high chance of being 3-2. Yeah.
I would actually expect this to be more likely to be going to the 5th map than, say, the Kilston Derby final we had last month. But it's I kind of like, my heart is close to Xron, but I want to say Cypher for actually very similar reasons that you're saying. Well, it's a push back in from Xron. He managed to get the refrag afterwards. He was taken down a little earlier. He's got a light armor below if he wants it, but he opts to pick up the railgun, which he didn't previously have.
And here comes that classic. It's always in between. The pace seems to pick up whenever the pickups spawn on the map. And Cypher picking his moment, listening out for his time to strike. He did manage to click the heavy, tries to go in for the big boy dire orb. He had the armor to make it work! And the rail comes through as well as Xron. Impressive stuff.
You can see where Cypher was facing. He was looking at the rocket, the teleporter exit, and expected Xron to make a move over there, but he just stayed around the side, didn't really move an inch, and looked for a careful angle as Cypher was backing towards the Mega Health. Xron finds himself on map point on Awoken. He does eat a rail straight away, which will make Cypher feel a little better about his chances at the beginning of this round.
Cypher almost landed an insane rail towards teleporter. He had the piercing sight and it ran out halfway, but he didn't know the sort of strafe jumping trail that Xron was taking. So he had to go for, you know, he had to eyeball it.
This is difficult though for Cypher because Xron has been so delayed with when he's using his piercing sight. Sadly for Xron, he's not going to get anything for it. He's looking for aerial
That should be a guaranteed kill for Cypher. Xron trying to stay alive on the jump pad, but just setting himself up hook, line, and sinker for Cypher to finish the job. And it's just back
out the jump
again. Oh my god! What even happened?
He rocket jumped. He hit the platform above, which has like the health bubble and the light armor, and he goes up the bounce pad. And if you're ever going to get a dire orb angle that is easy, it's going to be that. They're just floating in the air.
I think that's why Cypher said not surprised, right? That was just awareness of Xron to say, I'm going to get the guaranteed kill, similar to setting it up with a rail. That was so good.
He's here onto the Mega House. Brilliant mobility with the... Oh, he just hits a shot. He follows up with a rail. And I think he might want to close this one out. This is the map if he gets it. Cypher's still hanging around here. He's got the LG. And he's just going to close it out with a machine gun. That is going to be map 1 to Xron. All right, I'll never say that again. I just...
Hey man, there's nothing wrong with that.
Shout out to 04, who will never ever pronounce Ron's name any differently.
Surely he just deliberately does it at this point. He must do.
Well, I mean, it's gone past like just suddenly saying it different. It's why I'll probably never say Xron, which is what it's meant to be instead of Xron.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some like Ukrainian people out there who are be triggered by me, but whatever. Xron is the man of the moment, taking that map down. That little combo we saw over at Banana with the rail landing and then follow up into the LG room. Beautiful stuff from him. The dire orb up the bounce pad. It was started as this little movement error though from Cypher. You can't really put it down to anything else, can you?
Yeah, he just bumped his head, didn't he? He tried to go for a rocket jump, and he was almost like forced to go for a second one. Unfortunately, when you get stuck in the air that much, landing a dire orb in that situation is just as easy as landing a rail in that situation. That's kind of why I think Ranger. Now the stacks have been adjusted, and Ranger's a bit more viable these days. I generally think that we're going to be seeing Ranger used a lot more. And when he's in the field, there are certain things that you would normally want to do that he basically just says, stop. You're not allowed to do this because I have a dire orb, and if you do it, you get literally insta-killed regardless of stack. And no other champion in the game has that trump card. And because Nyx doesn't get used as much either, he's the only one that telefrags.
There's a lot of different champions that'll make you behave differently when they've got their ability up. It's going to make you play more cautiously than other champions. Even just BJ's dual wield is going to make you think twice about walking into the same room as him. Maybe not so much about going up close quarters, like a dire orb could take you down, but just being in the same room is that all of a sudden that damage output could be there. So you've always got to be conscious of what those kind of risks are going to be. We can see that the BJ's been picked up by Cypher. Xron, do we want a double BJ going into this map? He's corrupted keep after all. He's not going for it. This is very tame from Xron. He's usually one of the first guys who will go out and pick those more wildcard champions, but he's not going for it. It's a very serious mind on him.
But I think that's it, actually, what you're saying. I think that's probably what we're seeing, that he's not wanting to take any risks because he's in a situation where, okay, I'm up one map. This is grand finals. I know these 3 champions work. And when you're going up against BJ, I think depending on when you get to pick, you also get the option to look at the matchup you're going to be facing and then pick around that as well. And, Xron's in a great position at the moment where he kind of has that option to see Cypher select BJ and say, right, do I go BJ into BJ or do I try and go for sustainability above everything else? And if it's BJ, he doesn't want to stand on a totem because he's going to be completely free. It's not like he can stand on a totem and then sustain himself with something or try and get out faster. If he hits a totem, he's basically a sitting duck, and then Xron can rely on his own aim to compete with the dual wield if it comes to that.
Well, we do start the second map of the grand finals now. Xron versus Cypher. Xron is a map up, but it is a best of 5, remember, so no titles can be taken down here and now. But a totem will be taken down with Cypher's torso, and there'll be a bit of damage going the way of Xron.
So it's always an interesting matchup when you see Glenn get picked first. She kind of has that time to set up. It can be a little bit different on Corrupted Keep because it's so close quarters, but right there, the sustainability alone just makes her so dangerous in these 1v1 encounters.
Trying to find him straight away. Cypher almost going out. He's got the totem. The nail gun just suddenly hits the sweet spot, and that went 100%. And Xron's life just put before his very eyes.
Dying with 3 HP. What an LG!
the turnaround on the situation. It looked like Xron was going to get an easy second frag here on Corrupted Keep, but Cypher had something to say about it.
Yes, he did. And Corrupted Keep is one of those maps I really kind of have my eyeballs on Cypher, because every time we've seen him play on this map so far, it has been destruction. So if Xron can sort of change that pace a little bit, that's going to be the start. But I favor him quite heavily on this map.
There's resources going back in the way of Cypher a little bit. Comfort has returned. He hasn't got the trusty Tri-Bolt. And that Tri-Bolt's hurting him quite a lot, actually. Xron closing the gap a little bit. He's himself is a bit early for the heavy. He does break through. Manages to dodge out that rocket. Mega health is up, and Xron's paid a bit too much attention to Cypher, but he's still going in on this. Totem's down. Oh, the aerial! What a rocket from Cypher. Finishes up the first round. Spectacular shot, you gotta say.
I mean, Xron was just straight up chasing him. Chasing his tail from, like, you know, the start of that to the absolute end. At no point was he trying to wait, was he trying to look for an angle. He knew where Cypher was, and he was just gunning it the whole time. And I think that Cypher did a great job of essentially the second he was cornered, getting that little bit of a counterplay, and then making the damage count.
Cypher just going with the spam at the moment. He didn't even pick up the Tri-Bolt last round. Spectron's still going to try and bring that weapon into the game. You can see it here. Pressure on at the top. It's really made the position that Cypher's got far, far weaker, because he's got that perfect distance to aim from. You want to spend as little time as possible holding the LG side of the map. It's even something that's applicable to 2v2 right now.
There's a level of understanding, I think, that players have in these kind of situations. Xron getting melted by the nail gun. But like I was saying, there's a level of understanding he's having those, like, yeah, for sure. In those long-range fights where normally the heavy machine gun was like the go-to weapon, but the Tri-Bolt, it's a new layer to this meta of duel right now.
Oh my god,
big damage on the rocket. Oh my god!
Ooh, that was close.
He almost died. Going towards the Mega. Able to snatch it.
Still so weak for Cypher, actually. He's taken immense amounts of damage lately. Oh, that rocket was incredibly close to Xron. Xron should have learned something about where Cypher's hiding for now, and he's managed to find the other light armor. So both stacks incredibly competitive moving into his next rotation.
And now, Totem gets dropped for another time. No damage return just yet. Lots of poke. Nail gun should finish the job. Xron, even if he teleported towards that dire orb, I think he was already finished.
I think he was trying to close the gap a little bit and go for the orb frag, because it seemed nonsensical to go that deep into the fight without doing that much entry damage. Cypher gets rid of the totem. I think Cypher's going to fall. Sorry, Xron's going to fall. And that's going to make things 2-0.
I just think that Cypher is too good on this map right now. It really seems like the second he goes on this map, it's almost like it's over already. Not to speak too soon, I know we're not finished, but it looks like Xron just can't gauge how to approach these fights, because every time a fight happens, Cypher is just all over it. He's landing the shots better, he's in a better position every single time. He just has his mind set on Corrupted Keep.
Yeah.
Now he's going to spring a trap.
Tri-Bolt again to watch out for. If Xron does get a Tri-Bolt kill, got to make sure he doesn't get chased down by nails over at the sort of the bend with hourglasses.
Actually, I believe, unfortunately, we might have had a game crash, I believe. Oh, there we go, we're back. We're back. Sorry about that, guys. We're back in business.
We're prepared over here. This is what we do. Jahar, king of production. All hail.
Ready. Well, either way, not a huge amount has happened in this final round. Well, potential final round so far.
Can't pass Xron just yet. That was a meaty long-distance rocket just then. The nail gun coming out from Xron, still nursing some overstack with the health. Oh my god, more Tri-Bolt. Cypher still has to respect a lot. Tri-Bolt coming out again!
God.
Right in the face. Xron's gonna load up on heavy.
I just feel like heavy machine gun versus Tri-Bolt is a good matchup for Tri-Bolt.
Woo, escape, 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 escape. He can't do it. There's a direct, but the lava's gonna take him down. Rip.
Floor is lava, boys. Get the chat going.
At least it wasn't Nailgun at this side of the map where we see Cypher currently playing at, because that's where he died his first frag. Oh my god, the lightning gun. This Heavy's not up for a second. Almost still takes down the kill. But Cypher's one, he keeps on coming back, and he's looked 10 times stronger than Xron on Corrupted Keep, I gotta say.
He just needed to get 2 more machine gun shots, but Cypher, he looks so hard to crack into on this map. Okay, so Cypher, I mean, I'm gonna say he can afford to be patient if he wants to, but he's not gonna be. You know, he's gonna make sure he's laying the pressure on thick. He's gonna take a fight when he knows it's guaranteed. Popping the dual wheel because he knows Xron has like no escape. How did you get out of this?
He's found that totem, so he knows that Xron would have held up a little bit. There's a mega spawning in a second that Xron's going to be able to take. He's a bit weak. There's a totem beside him, but he can't even get round to heal up on it. That map started pretty much after it ended. That was really, really damn quick.
Cypher was 100% happy for Xron to take that mega because he understood that my accuracy is so off the chain right now anyway. I have the high ground advantage. I have the, you know, he can't get those direct rockets on me if that's what he opted to try and go for. And he's in such a bad position. All I have to do is let him collect the mega. I know he's going to be there. I'm in control of the fight, and I'll just finish him off. You know, that was a really, really good decision from Cypher, and clearly it did the juice for him. And that's 3-0. One of the fastest maps of the day, in fact.
Yeah, really, really, really fast. We are going to be going over to Bruins next, which strikes me as a Xron map pick. I don't have the specific picks from each player, but it wouldn't surprise me given these convincing wins we're getting from each of them, that's going to be something Xron is well into. I'll actually confirm that. Yep, it is. Then we've got Blood Covenant picked by Cypher, and after that it would be, I have the brain, it's Blood Run as a potential tiebreaker. Figured it out. Are we
okay? So
need to get Jahar back in.
Oh yeah, we do actually. We definitely do. I think with this in particular, I think what we saw on Corrupted Keeps just then was when it comes to absolute, you know, 1 versus 1 and it's close range combat, with the exception of a rail, which we do see people switch to on occasion in these, like, you know, desperation moments, and it works. The clutch does come through. I think Cypher, yeah, for sure. Cypher was able to show that when these 1v1s happen, I'm better at combat than you are at the moment. I think that's, at least in those really close range encounters, Cypher was able to show that when there's no rail in the mix, I think Cypher's a lot more dangerous here.
Well, let's figure out how things are going to start looking in Bruins, as we've got champion picks for this. Visors each. It's been starting champion, I think, for pretty much every player on every map today. Definitely not sharing the same strategies as the NA guys. And
Visor has 100% pick rate every single time. It's kind of madness, really. I mean, absolutely has. Surely he has to be considered the best champion in the game, considering he's a must pick.
Still, yeah. He's still incredibly popular. Yeah, he's got such an important mechanic involved in it. It's hard to ignore right now for players at this level. But we're getting BJ back though for Cypher, and we have Ranger for Xron. Again, it's very, very sort of standard picks for Xron. I'm curious because if you're early in a best of 5 series, that's where you could kind of throw out the surprise picks a little bit and maybe spice things up. Especially after he won his map 1, you could go into the second map and think, okay, well, Cypher's really strong here. Maybe let's try something super crazy just to see if Cypher wouldn't expect it. But he's not done that. He's not done that at all.
Playing it very, very safe. And with BJ coming in for Cypher, I think this is one of his real star champions right now because his general like combat skills in the patch. I mean, he's always been a ridiculous aimer regardless. And the second you now have BJ becoming way more popular because of the changes that the patch has received, it's a great champion for him. And I'm not surprised that we see him pick it so constantly. But it's Visor first. And on this map, Visor first? Yeah, of course.
Yep, absolutely going to be that. We've got our early rail for Xron. He's going to look for one more. Another rail could get the kill, but he barely misses by a millimeter. Oh, Xron still manages to land it. And now he's going to be able to tidy up with the mega health. He hasn't grabbed any other item yet. The tri-ball comes out and immediately he's out of here. He is gone.
Where did his health go to? He had full health a second ago.
It's just disappeared completely. Where's the health on the map that he can pick up? He's trying to find anything. He's going to get piercing sight in a moment, and that's going to really guide him. I'm surprised he's even stretched out as far as he has just now.
Definitely railable. He's going to have to be really careful, actually. Yeah, that's why he didn't use it for sure. They were even going to risk it. Oh, we caught him. He saw him.
There's light armor there. Oh my god, he's actually going for it! Oh my god, the damage that he's done!
Oh my god! God, the same thing. What just happened to him? He was able to dish out.
That was like 130 or so damage per tri-bolt blast.
I'm never going to get tired of seeing that, by the way.
Almost 300 damage. And Cypher, after eating the first one, he should have backed out, but he didn't. That was savagery. I've never seen tri-bolt this tournament, or this weekend, be as brutally painful as that.
Now Cypher had to. I mean, when you're in that situation, what even do? You try and run away and get hit, or do you peek and at least try and contest damage? Weaken him to make him have to run away, and then it's going to be your option to run, to sort of get out of that bad situation. Cypher was kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place at the end of that round, I feel.
Round 2, fight.
Yeah, he was trying to get this shoulder peeks out to bait out a rail that would hopefully miss, and then he could maybe move away during the reload period. That was like the only thing he would have hoped for. I'm still following Xron though, the start of round 2. As he's got a little late on the piercing sight. However, I think Cypher's done something similar. Or
yeah, Cypher popped his as well.
At the same time. What a nail gun damage. Relatively fair exchange at the end of the day.
Obviously, normally you don't normally see the jump pads get used in those encounters, but Cypher, knowing that in that instance in particular, he kind of had the archway blocking him off or protecting him, so he could have got one of those last-minute rails should Xron have been there, but he wasn't. He was already out long after.
He's got the railgun still yet to pick up. Ready to cover those choke points with tri-bolt. Just hit something. A little bit of damage there coming out from Cypher. Is he going to try a double jump back up? And he's going to edge away. Ooh, he knocked him down a little bit. And he's still going to hold position a bit on heavy.
Dropping down nice and quickly, forcing Xron away. But now he's going to have the heavy. Tries to go in for one of those really awesome, like, rocket jump pad angles. Does actually manage to catch Xron off guard a little bit. I think Xron was quite ready for him to be that far to the side. Misses the rail. But he has time for one more. Misses a second back-to-back. It's now actually risky for him to stay here. Xron could have returned that.
He's still available. He's finally got sight on Cypher. He really wants to just catch some vision so he could read where he's going to be. Almost gets the turn with the rail shot. But he just wants to heal up a little bit. The rail is no longer a threat, but Cypher's grabbed himself the mega health. Now the heavy armor. A light armor will go to Xron, but he's still playing, well, the hide. Part of hide and seek.
Okay, excellent rail.
Where Cypher for and in the last round, and there's just no escape. Xron manages to close it out with a nice rail. Cypher getting good chip damage. Xron right off the spawn. Nothing he can really do about that. It's a brilliant spawn frag from Cypher.
It's amazing awareness too, like, who even cares about the totem? Just stay out of its effective range, let him heal, who cares? As long as you have the weapon advantage in that situation, and Xron can't really fight back. You can be so confident with how you push that.
And now Xron's going to have to pull out some miracles a little bit. If he can do something like before with the dire roll, that would help a lot. But right now, he's just trying to edge away. These fights don't favor him. He's got the dire roll, but it doesn't quite come out in time. There is the tying round, sorry.
Prepare to fight.
There are fewer things more entertaining to watch in this game than Cypher's lightning gun. It always has been one of the absolute best LGs in the history of Quake, and in champions, if you have the right champion to complement that, like how consistently we saw Cypher with piercing sight activated and an LG in hand, he almost never missed a thing.
He hits a nice little rail right off the beginning and then goes and collects himself the heavy armor. So it is a great start control-wise for Xron. Now Cypher is going to have to work his way a little in, get some initial damage. We'll know that the Mega's up in a second. Can't see the light armor. So that was probably taken off of the first spawn.
Drop down.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
no
think
one's gonna...
Cypher would have stuck around there if he didn't. Well, if he wasn't on the bounce pad basically already, he would have loved to have stayed there with the rail being fired from Xron.
Yeah, no one particularly interested in taking it through, but with the ambush laid, I think they both must have understood that piercing sight was used, either that or they listened to it. But excellent shot from Cypher. Xron's in big trouble now.
Backs off. Perfect timing for Cypher. He's timing the upper light armor as well as he possibly can. Xron, is he going to peek this this item? I think he's just spotted. I don't know if Cypher saw him. Missed shot, and now Xron probably wants to go set up for mega health. Did he miss the jump?
Right as Cypher actually went to take that shot towards LG, he turned around like at the exact same time as Xron going down there. It was one of those really funky encounters where just look there for an extra half second, you'd have got your damage.
Xron actually missed the rocket jump going up to get himself the mega, so he had to go all the way around via the light armor and up the staircase, but he hit the rail to stop Cypher chasing him. There was definitely a world there where Xron got completely crushed before he could take the mega health.
Heavy being seized once more by Cypher. This hasn't been challenged for 2 rotations of it now, so he's going to feel sort of comfortable cycling around when need be. The mega about to spawn, it's not been taken, which means that Cypher gets control over this as well. There he is, piercing sight popped.
Xron can't stay alive, surely not. He's got so little health. The drop down, that's kind of surprised the crosshair placement of Cypher. Somehow Xron hasn't bitten off more than he can chew. He is alive and kicking.
Ooh, wow.
There's no missing sight for Cypher.
And I'm actually surprised Ron went down there towards Heavy. He was so weak, and in that close quarters, even a wayward rocket that wasn't direct probably would have finished him off. I wonder if Ron just kind of wanted some information, above all else, you know? But there's that piercing sight used again. And this actually is going to be in Cypher's favor with Ron not having it available, but the tri-bolt almost finished him.
All of a sudden, you think he's got the advantage, but it's not necessarily the case. Xron suddenly bought himself a hell of a lot of control, all things considered, in the standings he was on before. He's missing out on these rails, but there is a mega health that's right behind him.
Ooh.
So weak, oh my god.
You can say that again. And with the rails both these guys have been hitting, the second you're within this health, it becomes so scary. Cypher able to stack back up so he can tank 2 rails now at least. Piercing sight available. Comes down to when he thinks it's a good time to pop it. Both these guys actually now popping their piercing sight at exactly the same time.
And Xron's pushing, so yeah. Cypher not going to want to fight that. It's going to be mega health again. Slowest round that we've seen between the two of them so far. Xron going to keep pushing in there. He's going for the rail. Machine gun. You'd never expect him to be picking a weapon like this, and he does go for the push in. The surprise jump. Frag number 1 of this round is all his.
At long last, we see a frag. And we're likely to go down to the 1 champion, dual wield, going in for the machine gun because that's all he needs, but it's not enough. Xron still finds a way.
He had to hit. Basically 100% LG there to have hope. He goes for 1 rail and the flick afterwards. All of a sudden the flare is out and Xron puts himself onto map point.
Very impressive stuff. And it's crazy how it was such a fast turnaround at the very end, because Cypher understandably found himself in a situation where he needed to make something happen. You know, I don't have the time on my side anymore. This cannot be a 1 champion game. I've got to even things out. Let's go for a VJ fresh off the spawn and dual wield him to death. But the sheer accuracy from Xron keeping him alive. That's why he was one of the best 2v2 players in the world, because his combat is off the chain. Yeah, missing the rail.
He's got to back out. There's no item for him down here to take, so he's got to be tremendously careful. Does he have an idea if Cypher was chasing from one of those directions? You can hear him now. 20 HP.
Oh my.
How's he alive? How are you alive? Is the chase? LG is gonna burn him down. Cypher gets first blood of the round.
And what was even worse for Xron there was that he missed the rails, so he wasn't even able to compete! What even happened there? Xron goes in for the totem, maybe trying to catch him off the jump pad, but 2 perfectly placed rockets, putting Cypher into a quick turnaround. This could be an even situation in way less time than we saw before.
And that would put us in an exciting round, actually, where Whoever wins it will be on match point in the series and be on the brink of possibly winning this edition of the Quake Open
Oh,
League.
that
EU Elite.
LG.
This has got to be it.
That
There we are.
LG Zoot. Jesus.
Yeah, that was devastating just then.
Prepare to fight.
But we are on the tie-breaking round of this critical map. Who's going to have momentum going into the last parts of the series?
Fight.
It's got to be Cypher that we check out off the start of this one. We are Visor.
All right, piercing sight popped once and it gets popped again. Yeah, checking out both these guys. They're popping their piercing sight at exactly the same time. It always introduces an interesting exchange between the two. Cypher trying to run away, understanding that with the rail not in hand, it's just going to be free damage for Xron if he's with an ice shot.
Oh,
Excellent rocket though.
Okay, the rail was equally amazing actually from Xron, because if he didn't do any damage there, Cypher was at a massive advantage. He's going to find him up the bounce pad, looking for mid-airs, but he's not going to hit them. We might have a chase. He misses the jump to get across. And that is going to be Xron getting the first blood of the round.
It can really go to show that this level of play, how important something as simple as a missed jump, how much it can cost you. In this case, as a champion.
He's expecting that. A good little read that he had on Cypher then. And he's actually getting chased, so he can easily make a run onto Heavy. And I suspect Cypher will try to defend Mega Health.
The issue is that Cypher using his dual wield, accomplishing very little apart from forcing Xron away from Mega, so there is going to be that. Unfortunately, it's down for a huge amount of time. I wouldn't be surprised now if Cypher doubles back towards light armor, trying to get some of those time shards.
We see how Xron sees the threat of Tri-Bolt. It's like, right, I'm not hanging around anymore. That used to be a very strong position where you could guard the player at Tri-Bolt and keep them stuck in that area. And the player at Tri-Bolt is like basically just hoping that they can get out. Now all of a sudden that position has become quite strong, and Xron is accepting that very quickly.
Displaying an understanding of the current patch. If Tri-Bolt is going to become as dangerous as it is, it just enforces a new level of respect you didn't have before. Popping the dual wield, trying to establish space. Now he's got Mega. He's in a great position to actually try and take this fight. Going in with the machine gun because he doesn't need much else. There's the LG switch as well. Xron pasted. And now it's going to be even once again.
Well, both the visors are out of this round. We've got to drop straight away. He's looking for the die roll kill and gets the nail gun out. Let me just inject this dollop of chaos into the round and quickly pinch another frag. Xron only needs one more. And he can't hang around. His health stack is too low.
Yeah, not at all. Cypher nice and stacked, so if he does manage to pick out Xron, he's in a great position, but yeah, he only has the machine gun, so without a rail, those situations where he catches Xron off guard, he's not going to get much of a payout until he gets the rail, which he now finally does manage to collect. Xron with the high ground, taking those shots is going to be very difficult for Cypher.
And he's got the rail himself now. Cypher's got massive amounts of overstack, so Xron's still got to be really, really cautious of how he approaches things. He's got the Tri-Bolt, though. Game changer incoming.
Maybe. I mean, we don't even joke about it anymore. This is an insane weapon now. Xron still deleted, though.
We need to regroup.
Galena versus Galena to decide who goes on to match point. There is a nail gun, but Xron right off the spawn. He walks right into him, so Cypher is going to be on a match point.
I'm very, very impressed with how Cypher can recover on those spawns. It felt a lot more regular that Cypher was in a position to get a really good frag and then just have an amazing understanding of where the spawn is likely to be. And when he sees it, just pure LG. Like, doesn't even bother with anything else. If you've just respawned, you've got a starter weapon. His LG is by far the most dangerous weapon to use. That was a long series and Cypher with 41% accuracy on LG. For a map that went on that long, I think 40% accuracy is super commendable.
Yeah, overall, you can see the control is far more in favor of Cypher 2. You could tell by the amount of heavies and megas taken. There was about 15 megas taken by Cypher, 8 for Xron. The difference wasn't quite as far apart on the heavies. I could tell the trend through the series was very much Cypher having more items to play with than Xron. It would be good, actually. I'm sure we could do like a show in itself, breaking down all of the stats pages that there now is, stats.quake.com. Find your stats, take a look at all your performances. It's a beta page right now, but there's loads of super cool information there that you can have a look. Compare yourself to the likes of Rafa, make yourself feel either really good about how much more accurate your gauntlet is, or feel salty all the time like me. But we've got the start of Blood Covenant coming in. Xron just lost his map pick, and now he's forced to win. It makes no difference when we're getting to this few maps remaining. He's got to win Blood Covenant to stay in this.
And this is always a dangerous situation to be in when you're this far behind. Even one map can make such a difference in the momentum that you feel and how you feel about your own performance. Xron, whilst he's playing amazingly well, it's just Cypher, his general awareness, and he's making one frag cost an entire round. He's not even taking it one frag at a time anymore. When he gets that one key frag in a long situation, the turnaround of which it's spawn, die, spawn, die. I feel like Cypher's had such a hold over that kind of playstyle over everyone else in this entire tournament.
He's been on it with the spawn frags as well. He's been absolutely ready for it. And although you have those abilities straight up, there's not a lot you can do about it. We saw it at the end there on the Galena. Galena's not the type of person where they can suddenly use their ability and it's their ultimate defensive maneuver, like in the way that the dual wheel, for instance, or the orb, or a shield from a clutch, or I'm sure there's many others we could name. It's, yeah, Xron got caught with his pants down. I'm going to see if Cypher's going to be after a lot more of these spawn frags now, if he can at least build his way to that.
Right, so as we warm up, we talk about the predictions that we had. Nice, I love these super high speed, high pace suicides we're seeing right now. But no, we were talking about predictions, Zoo, and how we kind of think that even though, you know, we can definitely see Xron potentially taking this, I feel like Cypher he's really hungry for this kind of win.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's 2-1, and this is a very, very good map for Cypher as well. Could this be a 3-1, do you reckon?
I think it very possibly could be. Cypher's been playing incredibly well. There's been a few get out of jail free cards that Xron's been using, and he's got to make sure that the game isn't hanging on the line like that. I know the Tri-Bolts definitely served him incredibly well and got him out of a few sticky situations. But all good. I say all good. It's not good for Xron right now as he's lurking around on 3 points of health. But it looks like Cypher decided to break away.
Barely got away from that one. Cypher, instead of trying to chase down the frag and risk losing out himself, tries to get some control established instead. Now he's got the heavy and timing of which. Excellent shot on the piercing sight. Make that 2. Is he going to go for a 3rd? Misses a 3rd, but he's still in control here. Flick rocket. Not enough. He needs a couple more.
Could do a lot. Oof. Little predictive movement down back to the staircase. That means Cypher gets the first kill of the map. Remember, guys, this is a best of 5. We are on map 4. Cypher, if he wins it, he will be this month's Quake Open League EU Elite champion.
And with one champion down already, the momentum goes towards Cypher easily. His shot, his accuracy, like, it's one of those things where if you make the reads but miss the shots, the reads become irrelevant. But with Cypher, every single decision has counted.
We're still dire orb at the moment for Xron, so he's got a little weapon in his pocket. But Cypher's hitting some awesome rails at the moment. He's reading exactly where Xron's going around the map. Heavy's been taken. Orb used to go up. He missed the orb, I think. He totally missed it.
He must have tried to teleport, but just mistimed it by a fraction of a second. It had already exploded.
I don't think it went on the bridge though. I think it went up the wall, literally, like just before the bridge, before you could even stand on the bridge.
That will. And yep, just the patience waiting for him to jump towards rail. No, to be fair, you might have seen it right, because I was watching it from Cypher's perspective. It kind of looked like the orb just kind of went straight up into the air.
I just saw like a glimmer of light a little bit too far away from the bridge for it to actually be on the bridge. And I thought maybe that's what it was. So I'm sure I'll get corrected if I'm wrong.
Well, regardless of how it happened, it's an unfortunate turn of events for Xron, because now it's put him even more far behind. Gets one of the rails, but it's not enough. And the Tri-Bolt melting the health. It's insane how we're in a meta of the game where the Tri-Bolt contests with the rail so effectively. If you ever told me there'd be a point where the Tri-Bolt can snipe a rail at the same time if they're not watching out for it, I'd never have believed you.
It's just you can't hold those rail angles for long. You can't just sit there like a turret and hope for the best. God. Cypher's just zapping down his stack completely. That's going to be 1-0, and it's looking pretty straightforward for Cypher.
We talked earlier about Cypher's like optimization of damage, using the right weapon at all times. And in moments where you would normally think, it's take as much damage as you can, Cypher still finds ways to use the right weapon to squeeze inches more out of it, which just means in this situation, though, if it's heavy machine gun or rail, sometimes he'll favor machine gun because he actually believes he has a higher chance of doing damage with that instead. Having to escape.
Oh my god, what the? That lightning gun damage was pretty disgusting then from Xron. Chasing down a little bit more. Because Xron was trying to get some things done with his piercing sight. Hits one good rocket. The follow-up's a little bit splashy. Machine gun switch is good. One more bullet would net him the kill.
Oh!
And he's just forcing it. He took the risk there. He was like, we need to make something happen. We need to shut down these plays from Cypher.
Watching it from Cypher's perspective, though, he was like half a second away from actually getting the angle for the rail he was looking for. So it's very, very good that Xron was able to nip that in the bud when he did, because otherwise there was definitely a rail coming his way.
Ooh. Nice work there with the combo. Lots of tri-bolt coming his way, so he's got to pay careful attention. He's just heard the full drop down, so he's going to give Cypher a break for a second. Does he want to head back over? He hears him. He has to make a switch really late.
Oh, God.
1 health. Oh my god. Oh, the heavy was not being taken. Xron's timing seems a little bit flaky right now, I've got to say.
Yeah, it seems like he's not being particularly punctual with some of these pickups. But the thing is, he's only just been able to get a health bubble that's put him above 1 HP. So 1 HP in armor still is kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem confident in this time. Which leads me to think that he's doing it by feeling a little bit more than sort of precision timing, where you can make a last-second jump on an item.
Cypher miscalculates entirely what angle Xron was trying to shoot him from. And now
Xron's feel a bit better off now.
I think Xron's done a good job of actually recovering, because when you're, essentially match point down in terms of the map itself, and you have a dominant first round like that, that can definitely, even the most seasoned of players can be affected by that. It's complete dominance. Cypher doing some self-damage with the tri-bolt, but still being confident. Yeah, focusing more on getting out rather than taking the shot. Let's try and do double.
I can't believe Xron hung around for so long. Like, Cypher was hitting some sick rails from that side. He's playing Galena, not Visor, remember?
Yeah,
He's still going to push this. Cypher back in. Rocket, really fantastic shot from Xron.
There we go. Might get collected by Cypher, but Xron's going to be very content playing this slow-paced game. We have to remember, as fast as these maps and rounds have been, if we're even going to reach this point, because I think he's going to eat damage for it. Yeah, Xron takes it easily. Time is a factor, but so many of these rounds, they're like not even surpassing 3 minutes.
Prepare to fight.
Yeah, it's been quite quick, especially Blood Covenant can be incredibly slow-paced map. I don't know if it's like so fast. It's definitely not like Corrupted Keep, right? Like we just had a round there where the whole map, that's how long the map lasted earlier on.
I think Cypher on Corrupted Keepers, don't blink, you'll miss it.
Yeah. Oh, it was just done for that map. There was credit to Cypher. Xron, his back has been up against the wall on this this map. A little bit of tri-bolt. See if he can scare him off. Yeah, Xron's just trying to keep the pressure going. Oh my god, that hurts a lot.
It's going to take us a while, I think, to adjust to how much damage this tri-bolt does from range. It's such a genuine, like, legit weapon to compete with. And it does transform some of these situations where normally on Blood Covenant it was, does he have rail or does he not have rail? Now, it's does he have rail or tri-bolt?
Yeah, tri-bolt is a big threat. Just heard, I think you should have heard the bounce pad there.
Is that a return? Yeah, it was a return piercing sight. I did wonder why that rail was so punctual, and they both land it. This is going to be quite a clutch finish now. Risky using the jump pad, but it misses! Cypher has to watch the
How did he think it was going to be a good idea to challenge just then? He was very brave. Even if he hit a rail, he would have had to hit another. So he had to be not only quick off the trigger, but have to have perfect dodge.
Oh, he miscalculates the health remaining too for the LG, and Xron survives again. Still in this fight, Cypher.
I think you hit the nail on the head there with miscalculating the HP a bit. Definitely seemed to think this one was a lot weaker than he actually was. Keeps hitting these rail shots. Xron is on map point. We're a possible round away from going to a tiebreaker. We had of the best of 5 series going all the way yesterday on the NA side could happen here on the European.
We called it in that it could very well be a 3-2 with the talent that we have up and running. And I was very worried after that first round, but it looks like Xron has done a fantastic job of turning these things around. It's coming down to the fact that his accuracy isn't failing him. He's making these wonderful decisions. Cypher, on the other hand, is actually making a couple of miscalculations on both health and when to go in for fights. I know he's been known for being very, very dominant, very, very aggressive, especially in this new patch. But sometimes in this map, it's just not working out. But he's sticking to his guns, and it's not really working too often.
Oh my god.
Tri-bolt. So good.
Off the rockets, though, from Cypher. He's gone the other way. He hasn't spotted that. That's going to be some... Oh, he manages to stop him dead in the air, and he's hit more Tri-bolt. They're both so weak, and the machine gun from Cypher keeps him going. His heart is still beating.
His objective now is not going to be to get a good spawn. Hearing the Mega, he knows exactly where Xron's going to be. His objective is going to be to try and restack up and survive. He hasn't got a rail, so he's going to have to rely on his heavy machine gun. Machine gun versus Tri-bolt. Historically, he's not putting a match up, and that is why.
Yeah, just do not get in the way. That is basically it. Oh, nice rocket, actually. A little bit. There's only a hint of damage, but I got information from it. He's still so weak, though. I think Cypher wants to keep on pushing. And I think Xron was like, I'm just going to go and meet my maker rather than wait for him to come.
Yeah, if I'm going to die, let's just do as much damage as possible.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he could have stayed back and hoped that Cypher would be so slow that his die roll could come back up, but it was hopeful.
Now, oh, wonderful rail. It wasn't even a scoped rail, that one.
Oh, it's got to be so careful there with that 87 health left. That was
Plenty more stack from Xron. 2 rails, but he's going to need at least 2 more.
Oh,
more damage.
Again. Just gets rid of that orb, though. Maybe not so necessary, because that's going to be one threat eliminated for Xron. But he is so weak, he'd rather not have a challenge whatsoever. I think Xron could hear him waltzing around. And he just heard the armor
there's
go.
no, yeah. Absolutely, Cypher heard that. Oh! Information now for Xron. Telling him exactly where he is. He's nearby Mega. But understanding that Cypher's near Mega, it's going to be safe to assume that he's going to collect it, which means that when the fight happens, Xron, he's going to make sure that his hits are the best they've ever been. Tri-bolt deleting all of that progress! Oh my god, Zoo.
It's just gone again. He's hitting direct everything. Like, the Tri-bolt travel speed is pretty damn fast. Oh my god, that rocket was nasty. Although Xron got that kill, he's incredibly weak. He's got to get some kind of recovery ASAP.
And Cypher had some absolutely beautiful movement fresh off the spawn when he went in for the rocket jump, and he went in for a second to guarantee towards bridge to rail, and it allowed him to close in so much space that the potential of a rail shot was there. It's just he had a rocket at the time. Had he had a rail, might have been able to actually finish Xron then and there.
So Xron's brought himself a big opportunity in this round where he can still contest for taking it to a tiebreaker. The Cypher stack is colossal. He's like tracing Cypher perfectly across the map, knows exactly what he's up to.
Rocket jumps activated, the defensive rocket comes through, no one landing anything significant yet, catching him airborne with the LG, but the teleporter is going to keep Xron alive, definitely saving his skin.
Look at the overstack that he's got just by getting that third totem up. All of a sudden, his stack is live and kicking. Ooh, did he spot him down there, LG? Oh, he heard him now. And he's seen a couple of totems, so he's going to try getting rid of them. There's another totem down by the cat.
Cypher is really, he's prioritizing going in for those like rocket jumps to try and reposition. He's actually quite weak in the process, so Heavy's going to help him out temporarily. Definitely excited to see going on the jump pad, a huge risk, but he's able to conquer it. And Cypher is going to be on tournament point. 3 more champions, and this guy is going to be our winner of the month. But we'll see if he can pull it off. Xron is definitely fighting back.
That was a pretty brave move going up the bounce pad, but he got a little bit of entry damage, which kind of put Xron off his feet, at least comfort-wise. And he's just able to get that LG going. It was an exchange that he was more than happy to take. Cypher on screen right now could be the Quake Open League EU Elite champion.
The thing is, if
knows
there was
exactly where
one
he is.
spawn he wants as visor, it's going to be rail spawn with piercing sight. Gets tagged though.
Give me that rail.
Less shy of going up the jump pad, knowing that Xron doesn't have a rail. Unfortunately, still took massive damage, and now he's going to get put up there. But the challenge with the nails doesn't work
what?
out, and he leaves himself completely open. 2 HP for Cypher.
That was disgusting nail damage. Xron decided to chase. He was a little bit late to do it, but he decided, YOLO, let's go for it regardless. And that means Cypher gets a big, big edge at the start of this pivotal round.
I cannot believe it. I cannot believe that happened.
That was a lot to land. It's not that easy to hit shots like that. Even if he is going up the bounce pad, like you could see the trajectory that he had that was constantly fluctuating when he was in the air. That was unreal.
Exactly, and especially seeing is the pressure of the situation, because you yourself are taking massive guaranteed damage for the LG. Yes, he was able to switch because he was getting pushed too far away, but still, that was an insane turnaround.
Bit more tribal though. He's going to respect a bit more. Knows that he's within sight of the W. Xron nearby hasn't managed to land that.
And the fact that rockets didn't connect actually didn't really give Cypher a lot of information as to where Xron was running away to.
Omega's up. Spotted him.
And there come the tri-bolts.
Oh, what a rocket to meet Cypher actually on the other end of that teleport. Is he going to try to sneak past Xron? Hits another big shot. Almost another rail.
God, we felt that one.
And he even teleported over to get towards the heavy armor. He might have just pinched a lot of control. And another rail shot. Unbelievable rails from Xron. Almost one more. It is squeaky bum time for Cypher. What the hell has he survived? Machine gun now comes out from Cypher, and he can breathe for half a second.
And amidst all of those wonderful rail shots, we did see Cypher recover and get a great defensive rocket. Now he's in a bad situation. Massive damage done with the machine gun. Cypher, though, able to return fire. Catching Xron off guard. Still weak. Swapping to LG. Just try and keep him at arm's reach. Forcing him away. There's no way Xron can take that fight, but the newly acquired heavy allows Cypher to press the advantage.
Xron's managed to get himself 2 light armors. He's got another 25, so he's taken a ton of resources to get himself back up there stack-wise. That rocket will set him back a tiny bit. But he's looking all right in the grand scheme of things. 2 minutes to go, though, for Xron to create a situation for himself. And that really felt like it was going to be it with those insane rails he was hitting.
It just felt like the amount of work you have to do at this level of play, you know, it's not a matter of just hitting one of the occasional rail. It's just perfection at all times. And it's actually amazing how Xron wasn't even able to finish it after all of that. But Cypher's defensive play, the rockets keeping him at arm's reach, very hard to deal with. The teleport, oh my god, it distracted him more than enough to allow the rail. That was a very well played situation for Xron.
And that's so nice for Xron because he knows that that's the visor gone. He doesn't have to be careful of these piercing sights coming out, disrupting his plays. Gets rid of that totem. Still has to watch out a little bit. He's got no orb himself. Machine gun going up versus nail gun. Oh, the rail though! No. Those shots landed and he just didn't prepare for that contingency plan for rails hitting. Look at these denials on the items.
He didn't even need to scope that either. That was just a straight up regular rail, knowing it was guaranteed.
Yep, Xron's
one
got
more
55
frag.
seconds.
Yeah, he does indeed. And this is it's do or die now. There's no other options.
Heavy's going to be up in a second. Xron is going to head over for this. He's got lightning gun, so he's keeping that sort of close spot just to make sure he can do some damage. Awesome rail from Cypher. And Xron's actually edging away from this. He's decided he's still got a few seconds to play with, so he's going to move back. One rail. Not quite another.
The rocket
There's
telling
Mega
Cypher
that
where
he can
Xron's
get.
retreating.
Is he going to go for Mega? Oh, there's another totem. Oh, the rail has landed. It closes him out. That's the intel. Maybe he's going back over to Rocket Bridge and not over to the Mega Health. Cypher shuts down Xron and takes the grand final 3-1.
Very impressive. I mean, like, I think Cypher, as a player, I think he needed this win, right? He needed something to say, right, I'm still able to play at this absolute highest level, because he's always been known as a player to have these world-class accolades. But I feel like with Quake Champions in particular, he's had a hard time this year reaching like the absolute top of that pyramid. And I'm really glad to see that, you know, with this duel that he's been able to come out on top in really, really good fashion as well. You know, Xron, no slouch whatsoever. This was a super, super sick opponent to take down. I think considering Cypher, some of his tournaments that he can go to are going to be somewhat limited due to unfortunate circumstances at the end of the day. There's no getting around that. When he can enter a tournament, he can take the top spot and say, I am the player to beat when I can finally play in these events.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit of a sort of, you know, a bit of a treat. Although, of course, he can't go to QuakeCon as something to kind of heal the wounds a teeny tiny bit. I'm sure it's never going to fix the fact that he's not going to be able to go, but you can still show how driven he is, see how driven he is and how much he loves these duel events and loves to take them down. It is a good win for him. I rate Xron super highly as a player. He's the guy who eliminated last month's champion as well in Cypher with a 3-1. I mean, that's a really, really sick result. And he also manages to remove the possibility, well, remove the